Welcome to Racking Our Brains. I'm Paul.
And I'm Abdul, and today we're discussing something that we've been thinking about, and I hope you'll think about it too.
I'm most excited to learn how other people feel about topics I'm passionate about.
We know you have something to share, so leave a comment below.
Make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you get our newest discussion.
Okay, so let's get to stepping. Today is what? The second or the first?
Today's the
Today's the
1st
first.
of February. First of all,
Happy,
congrats to us. I'm going to pat myself on the back here, but you and me both for doing this and committing to it. As longtime listeners may know, it takes us forever to turn around episodes. And last week we recorded on the 25th, and we published that this week. I think it was like 5 days later. So I think approximately 0 people have listened. But when you do listen, I want you to know that came out really fast compared to what we've been able to do. So we're
That's
making
right.
moves here.
We came quick this time,
We finished first.
and I hope you're satisfied.
Please stay on the line for the 10-second survey. So February 1st, we've got some random topics. Again, we're trying to be as current as we can, at least until we run into another topic that we want to blather on about.
And Abdul wants to be as racist as possible because the first fucking thing out of his mouth should have been Happy African Americans Month.
Is that what it's called?
I don't know. I'm not African American. I just thought it would be appropriate. I don't know. Aren't we PC?
We're PC, we're CP, we're CCCP, we're USSR.
We're iMac, we're everything, right?
Oh yeah, we
I
got all the conversion cables, whatever we need.
Ethernet. No,
It is
just joking.
It is Black History Month, right? Yeah, February 1st.
It is the shortest one. Yeah, let's get this shit over with. As white.
Hey, you get an extra day this year, though.
This is a leap year? Are you serious?
This is a leap year. Yeah.
Oh man, so how old am I this year?
You're 7.
I'm a lot older this year, right?
Did you know anyone born on a leap year or leap day or whatever?
You're a loser if you're born in a leap year. Go kill yourself.
Wow, man. Jesus. It's not good enough that you have to call everybody stupid. Now you're telling people to off themselves for when they were born, something they had zero control over.
Those aren't people. If you're born on the 29th of February,
holy cow, who's shitting your cereal this morning, man?
Yep. You know what? I have 2 dogs, so there's a possibility. There's a possibility.
All right, I'm going to start us off with a couple weeks ago, Kansas City Chiefs fans. I mean, this is unreal.
It is very no. All jokes aside, I apologize. I'm not callous. I want all humans to live and flourish and be positive with one another and for themselves.
Paul also believes the children are the future.
This makes no sense at all. It's unbelievable, but we're saying that colloquially because, unfortunately, 85% of the population. Please continue, Abdul.
Yeah, so 3 guys went to a friend's house. They were hanging out, watching the game, and they were found dead the next day. And it's the weirdest.
Not the next day, right? Wasn't it 2 days, 3 days later? Because we had the conversation about, wait, why did it take so long? Like
2 days.
Their wives, their girlfriends, or whatever should have called. Their cars were sitting out in front. Like all of that should have been a dead giveaway that something was up.
Even if it's the next day. But you're right. It is 2 days. Right. I have the article up here now. 2 days later, they're found dead in the backyard. And they're found because the guy's house, it wasn't his house. I guess he was renting. The guy who was living there, his fiance came to the house, went to check on him. She had to break in. She ends up seeing one body on the porch. And then eventually they find the 2 other bodies in the backyard. Just a wild, wild story. I cannot even imagine. And as you said, right, I can't imagine being the families and friends of these people. What a weird way. At this point, they don't really know what happened. But the latest that has come out was that there's a toxicology report. No one knows the details yet, but we're hearing, I guess, from local news outlets that they heard that a toxicology report was issued, run, and they should have results reported soon. Um, but yeah, that is just a wild way to go. Like, we don't know if they froze out there. We don't know if something happened to them. And
It was foul
it gets
play.
weirder because that guy has, I don't know if he was kicked out of the house, moved out of the house or whatever, but apparently he checked himself into a rehab. Um, what a, what a just a horrendous and wild story that was.
Yeah, I just can you imagine? Okay, so let's just take the best case scenario because they're already passed away, right? Best case scenario is they were drunk, they were playing around, they did something stupid outside, and maybe they fell asleep, I guess. But how do you fall asleep if you're freezing cold? Or uh, they can't all get knocked out at the same time unless, bro, it's unfortunately, and tell me if this is weird or not, but it would make more sense if something bad happened, right? Because if they
Right.
just fell asleep, if they just if it was of their own kind of mishap and volition that they did something silly and literally killed themselves by accident after a football game with your friends, I'd rather something bad happen to me than me kill myself. Like it just it's scary. It's scary.
Super scary. Super scary. Like I said, I can't even imagine. I don't know what it was like to be out there. I think initially the first report was saying something like there was some kind of evidence that they were trying to get back in. I don't know if it was texts that they were sending to other people that were not there. Um, and
Doesn't make
if
sense
that's
because you can still go to the front of the house, you can go to somebody else's house. Like this doesn't like
exactly,
a child would do better in my
yeah,
mind, right? Like I would expect even okay, it depends what age. Obviously, I'm sorry, a 7 or 8 year old, 100%. Mom, Dad, I can't get in the back. Break a window. I'm really fucking cold, or jump over the fence. Not really
yeah,
knowing the layout of the situation. Either jump the fence, go to next door neighbor's house, get on the street and be passed by a car. Like get in, like I would just get in somebody's, Uber Eats. It's probably a
yeah.
burrito.
Did you just throw a burrito out the window, man?
Right. I just sent you that the other day.
Yeah, dude, that's such a
That's
great
how I
bit.
roll, brosif. He says, "Oh, you had a terrible spill."
That's quite a raspberry you have there.
It's quite a raspberry you got there. I mean, if you'd like to resort to fisticuffs, I think he said. Anyway, number two.
Yeah. Number two, Elon Musk owns part of, all of, I don't even know, but a company called Neuralink, and
Mm-hmm.
they just announced that the first human received an implant. This was 4 days ago.
How many inches did it add?
Could you imagine if that was the whole purpose of the company?
Bro, we put this in
So,
your head in 3 weeks, you'll be rocking and rolling.
yeah, this one weird trick. All you have to do is have an implant in your brain. I hate those ads. I hate all of those ads. I think we talked about
What are
that
you talking
before.
about?
Just the ads that are like, "Hey, this one weird trick to lose belly fat," or whatever it is. It's always like one weird trick. It's
Yo,
just,
did I send you the screenshot? We're off topic already. It's my fault because I'm a doofus. But did I say that they're selling this shit in Costco? It's a belly fat pill, and I'm like, Costco has like I would just think that Costco would have done their due diligence and said, okay, there's no such thing as a pill that's going to get rid of belly fat. This is obviously a scam, so we're not going to sell this here. Although the thing itself could not have any side effects, right? It just doesn't do what
not
it says
even,
it's going to do. Say
not
again.
even, not
Say again.
even. All it has to do is state clearly. Sorry, I'm guessing here. Let me make that clear. It's not like I work in the industry and I know how you have to do this. But what I see on a lot of products and a lot of commercials is you just have a statement that clearly says these statements have not been evaluated by the FDA.
Right. Well,
And
that's
that's
what I
it.
say. That's what I say to somebody's house.
That's what your Tinder profile says.
She's like, "Hey, you want to go to my place?" Just FYI, the statements that I made during dinner were the FDA. I should not be held liable.
Oh God. So Neuralink. I will admit some bias in this, or some like a preconceived notion. Number one, I just thought it's Elon Musk. He's a super tech guy, right? He created, founded, or bought and ran Tesla. He was trying to do, I don't know if it's still an open project, but the Hyperloop, underground travel thing. And so I'm thinking when he goes into this Neuralink business, this is just him like creating cyborgs. I just thought, okay, he would love it if you could integrate computers and humans. And that's essentially what Neuralink is promising, that you can control computer interfaces with your thoughts. So it's a small, and what's funny, not
Go
funny,
ahead,
but
do it. You got to do it.
it's
You can start fires with your mind. Come on,
read
like you said. Go
a
ahead.
comic book. So the website says it's a small implant. You got to see the picture of this thing. I'm going to put it up.
No, I did. Yeah.
Bro, I would not describe this thing as small. Like they show a human hand holding this thing, and unless that is a 2-year-old child, that's a pretty large implant. But anyway, that gets implanted, and then you can supposedly learn to use your thoughts to drive the circuitry in this little device, which will then, I don't know if it's Bluetooth, I don't know if it's Wi-Fi, I don't know if whatever technology it is, but it will control something like this person's mobile phone or the person's computer or a
Right.
device that they need to get around. And so that's
So
where
FYI, I don't want to bury the lead here. I shouldn't say bury the lead, but minimize what your point was about the size of the implant. When you say implant, please let's all understand this is not under the skin. Like you have to drill a hole in your skull, and then you have to go through the covering of the brain to get to the surface of the actual brain.
Mm-hmm.
It's what's called a grade 3 implant, which means it's the most invasive category of an implant.
Yeah, and if you check the website, they show that they actually created a machine to perform the surgery and the installation. The threads of our implant are so fine that they can't be inserted by the human hand. Our surgical robot has been designed to reliably and efficiently insert these threads exactly where they need to be.
And to
Wild.
save you money, the robot that's doing your surgery is being controlled by somebody else's Neuralink. It's like, pay attention.
So, where I'm admitting my bias or skepticism of Elon Musk is they're at least stating that, and the trials right now are on patients who are immobile, right? And so there would be a massive benefit to being able to control a computer or a device because you've lost the control or you've never had the control of all of your limbs. And so you can't move. And so I'm admitting that because, again, I went into it thinking one thing and, okay, it could actually have a serious benefit for a certain portion of the population. But when you go further, it does say, I'll try to find it. We want to bring this technology from the lab into people's homes. And then what's next? They say, in the future, we hope to restore capabilities such as vision, motor function, and speech, and eventually expand how we experience the world. And so that was where I was going back to my skepticism. I said, no, okay, that's kind of cyborg talk where you're like, I'm just going to be half computer, right? We will experience the world differently because I'll be able to control things with, I'm gonna start fires with my mind because I'm psychosomatic. But yeah, that's my quick Neuralink take. So what about you? What did you think when you did your quick research on it?
Right. So there are two things, right? So there's the supposedly being able to regenerate motor function. Did you get any of that in your research? That
Well, that's what was in this what's next note, right? It says in the future we hope to restore capabilities such as vision, motor function, and speech.
that's awesome, right? But
Eating again. Love it,
take
bro.
this.
Let's just count the episodes.
What are you talking about, bro? Bro, it's first of all, it's Black History Month. You know what? What the hell are you doing?
Continue. Okay, so you thought it would be cool. Yeah, I agree. I agree. I mean, any of that. In fact,
But
even
I'm
these early trials, like
okay.
it is
You
a
just
big
talked for
benefit.
like 20 minutes straight. Like, just shut the hell up. That needs to go. Like, that stays in the show. I said that it's literally for the purpose of the show. But anyway,
I got it.
no. But so my thing is that's awesome. But what I don't think is particularly awesome is the control the computer shit. Like, what are we doing? Like, what are we really accomplishing here?
Well, again, if it was the average human being, like I'm just too lazy to interact with my hands,
But that's what it's
I
gonna be, homie. They're not gonna make money. They're not gonna really make money if it's just on people who've lost a use of their arms.
well, the way you talked about the let's reserve judgment for what happened in the case of the 3 Kansas City Chiefs fans who died, I'm going to allow Elon Musk and Neuralink to prove us wrong.
What do you
But I
mean?
agree,
No,
like
I'm
maybe
just
there
talking
will
about
be a
the
company.
math of it. I'm just talking about the math of it. Like the math of it is
Yeah, but we're talking about the richest person in the world, right? He could fund a company to literally benefit people who really need it.
right. But I don't have an issue with people making money under any circumstance. To be totally honest, like I don't. I mean, I don't have a problem with people making profit over whatever they do, to be totally honest. Like, and him making money doesn't change the fact that it could be really great for humanity. Like, I don't begrudge people of that. My only thought, not my only thought, but one of my thoughts was, and this is over, just in general, this is a two-way street, right? Like, people are gonna want this shit, bro. People are gonna
Yeah.
want the chip, and not because they have any problems, just because they're gonna think it's fucking awesome. And then he's gonna be like, "Cool, people want it," and he's gonna give it to people. And then the functionality and the accessibility to other genres and technology is going to grow. He's gonna make a shit ton of money. He knows that, and he's comfortable with that. But at the end of the day, the public is going to crave this to do more, and he's gonna give it to them. And then there gonna be times when the shit goes out on the fritz, and you send an email with your like you send an email with your brain to your grandmother, and it's a dick pic or something. It's bro, 100% this is happening. 100%, bro. Before we die, somebody's gonna send their grandmother a dick pic by mistake, obviously.
With Neuralink, because that's probably
Yes,
happened today already manually.
right. and not and not by mistake, actually.
So the last thing I think that we can squeeze in here, I actually had a couple other things. Oh, first of all, I guess I was going to segue from the Kansas City Chiefs fans to did you watch my Super Bowl short?
I did, and that sounded amazing.
I can't tell if you're fucking jerking my chain here.
No, yeah, it sounded great. Your delivery was awesome.
I appreciate that. That's not why I'm asking. But what was your take on that? I don't think you and I talked, or maybe you and I did, but I don't remember. What was your take on this whole? What a historic moment! For the first time, a game will be streaming only on Peacock. Like, I just thought that was absurd, and it really made me
Um,
feel like this. They could absolutely go that route where they're like, you either pay or you don't watch the Super Bowl, and
right.
people would
So,
definitely
and,
pay.
and that would kind of make sense, right? To make the Super Bowl a pay per view makes sense. Maybe not, definitely not all the playoffs, but definitely the Super Bowl. And then slowly but surely they turned it into the fucking championship, games. But um, I don't really have much of a comment on it because I don't give a shit. Like, people spend money on dumb shit, and they're gonna spend money on that shit. I wouldn't. To be honest, to be very, very honest, I don't have an NFL package. I don't go out of my way, and I'm a football fanatic, but I don't go out of my way for any of that shit because number one, you're sitting in front of the TV nowadays. I don't know who does it. These people are over in Asia somewhere, but God bless them. they do a cut up like within 15 minutes of a game of an NFL game being over. They do a cut up of the game, all the significant plays. When I mean not even the significant plays, all the plays that are not penalties and are not like just a punt, field goal
Mm-hmm.
bullshit that
3 and out.
nothing
Yeah.
really has happened. But like almost every play, they just cut it up and they put it in. I'm like, I'm watching almost the entire game. That's how I watch my NFL now. 15 minutes after the game is over.
Nice. I was not aware. So, have you watched any pay-per-view events?
I have never paid for one. No, like where I play poker, they always get UFC fights and boxing and stuff like that. But I've never paid for anything.
Okay. And so they don't do like a collection, like that's the next thing I
No,
was going to ask. Have you ever
no,
been part of a group that's like, I'm
no.
going to get it, can everyone chip in $5 or whatever?
I think maybe no.
I did I think it was the Pacquiao Mayweather fight.
That
And
makes sense, right? Because that was a big deal. That was just like a cultural big deal. Again,
it was a total letdown, but that made me feel like, yeah, this wasn't worth it at all. But I got to thinking about the Super Bowl, and I don't know. I don't know what I would pay. I don't know if I would pay if I wasn't part of a group that was chipping in, what amount I would be willing to pay. Probably a few dollars, but if you're telling me it's $100 to watch the Super Bowl, I'm not watching the Super Bowl. So I don't know what my number is. But yeah, anyway, I thought that was interesting. So, but before there, that wasn't the next topic. You brought up Alec Baldwin was charged again with involuntary manslaughter recently. So he was charged initially by the DA in the area, Santa Fe. This was January last year, January 2023. And then whatever happened and the case was dropped, I think, by April. And now he's charged again. Did you have thoughts on it, or you just keeping me posted? Want him to
no,
burn?
not. No, I'm sure you don't really care about it too tough, but and it wasn't like free Alec Baldwin or whatever like that. It's just a weird thing. I don't understand what they're holding him accountable for.
Yeah, I guess I would need to understand the charge of
And
involuntary manslaughter.
and they're not holding him accountable because he fired the gun. I think they're holding him accountable because he is the producer.
Yeah, which somebody should be, do you agree with that? Let's go through this philosophically. Somebody should be responsible for the fact that the gun was
Yes.
loaded or okay.
Yes.
Okay, so do you just not feel it should be the producer?
Yeah, I'm thinking it should be whoever the stunt coordinator, I think is what they call him.
Got you. So like a person specifically assigned to managing the safety of the weapons on set.
Right.
Got you. Okay. I think I could get on board with that. But that's kind of the culture of the buck stops here. And
But
yeah, the only way I could see I'm
I don't
playing
care
devil's
where Buck
advocate.
stopped, I'm sorry, go ahead.
The only way I could see it mattering is if you had qualified people in that line of work and they have a history of keeping sets safe with whatever weaponry is on set. And Alec Baldwin's producer or anybody is producer. And they're like, I'm not going to hire somebody that we know can do the job. I've got my nephew Billy here. He should be able to handle it. And that point,
absolutely. Agreed.
right?
Understood.
So that's whatever negligent hiring practices. You could be held accountable for this. But okay, that's a fair point. Yeah, I get it. And I don't know. I morbidly, curiously, I would like to know the details of exactly how it went down because I feel like I've read some accounts of it, but I still don't have a picture in my head of exactly what was happening. But
you mean on that set?
Yeah, at that moment, right? And I think this article I pulled up was the first one to say, "Oh, he was practicing a cross draw," and I was like, "You can practice a draw with a completely empty weapon, like so you're practicing the cross draw, but you're also firing." And I like if you're literally just practicing, why would you need anyone else on set? Even if you wanted to actually go through the firing motion and pull the trigger, it just a lot of it doesn't make sense. I don't know if we'll ever get the answers, but
all of it makes sense to me because you're an actor, so you're just doing shit, right? You're out there doing your craft, and I'm not trying to be funny in my mind, and I'm not an actor by any stretch, but you're out there, you're practicing your craft, you're pretending to be Butch Cassidy, and you want to do it in a specific area, in a specific space, with specific surroundings, so that you can get comfortable and blah blah blah. You're supposed to. There should not be live rounds anywhere. I'm sorry for yelling because this doesn't make sense to me. Why would there
Yeah.
ever be live rounds anywhere?
It doesn't even have to be a live round, though. It doesn't have to be a live round. I don't know if you remember the Brandon Lee death when he was filming The Crow. Apparently, that was just something that got jammed in the gun. Like it was, I don't even know the terminology, if it was blanks or what have you, like things that shouldn't fire, but that will provide an explosion for the film or the recording. And there was just something in there. I forget what the word they used a word for it. It was like a dummy or something. And so that could have happened. But again, to your point, if it was a live round, absolutely, right? That seems insane.